am I? And furthermore, what do I want? What makes you itch? That's the most important investigation anyone can make. But you don't find this out until you investigate it. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Because if you say that money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. Forget the money. After all, if you do really like what you're doing, you can eventually become a master of it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. Therefore, it's so important to consider this question. What do I desire?
Hey, you gonna do this or what? You gotta do it. And keep doing it. Do it big. Bigger. Get it. Stop the checklist. In a position to win. In a position to go. In a position to win. Do it with one hand behind your back.
One now.
Do it blindfolded.
Next.
Do it your endorsement deal. Say you shouldn't.
Section 43C, no rope swing over canyon dunks.
Like what's happening? Do what they say you can't.
Can you?
Because there are those who don't and those who do. Yes, sir. Let's do.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Clyde Field on the campus of Utah Valley University for today's WAC matchup between the visiting Aggies of New Mexico State and the hometown Wolverines of Utah Valley. Alongside Melanie Osler, I am Brandon Crow. Thank you for letting us be a part of your Thursday evening on the WAC Digital Network. Thank you to Ben Schroeder and his fantastic camera crew braving the bitter cold winter-like winds and temperatures here in Utah. You're going to see the flags continuing to blow all around throughout this pitch this afternoon. Game time temperature right now with the wind chill factor, about 37 degrees, and it will continue to drop. Good thing is that there's no clouds, so no snow.
For now.
Utah Valley are in their home pink jerseys in honor of breast cancer tonight. And New Mexico State Aggies, who are in the box trying to sneak past the goal to Alihara, who quickly snuffs that out, are visiting in their red with the black trim and the white numbers. Utah Valley will be going from left to right as you see it and as we see it. New Mexico State going from right to left. Early foul call against Jenna Shepard. We'll give the ball back to New Mexico State. Melanie, you hear the cliche phrase, this is a must-win game. Early on in conference, this is only Utah Valley's second conference game, but they lost on the road on Sunday at Bakersfield. But this is a must-win for them. You have to win this one, really.
It definitely is, especially coming off of their loss this past Sunday against Cal State Bakersfield, opening up their WAC play. It's kind of, you know the list of teams that you have ahead of you to play, and when it comes down to New Mexico State, it's exactly what you said. It's a must-win. They need to play their soccer and capitalize on it.
New Mexico State also looking for their first win, dropping the first two games in conference to Grand Canyon and California Baptist. But Utah Valley has struck magic many times here at home in Clyde Field. They love playing on the home pitch, and they're hoping to do so again tonight. Still undefeated at home this season. Jenna Shepard and Julie Carter and company keeping the scoring alive for the Wolverines over the past few games. Jenna Shepard a couple weeks ago winning the WAC Defensive Player of the Week honors. And she promptly uses that into momentum to score 2 goals on Sunday against Bakersfield for Utah Valley.
Yeah, such a crucial player on this team, especially in set pieces like this. She is such a threat in the attacking third and the defensive third.
Katie Haskins lines this one up, sends this one in toward the back corner, and nobody there as it goes right into the hands of Dimitri Fong in between the posts. This is game 1 of a doubleheader for Utah Valley. Tonight the men's soccer will play right after this as well. And they begin home turf in conference play with a 3-game to lead in the conference sitting up at the top. But the ladies get the advantage of playing in the sun.
You got to take your pick. I think I would pick the sun.
Not necessarily a new addition, but a welcome back addition for Utah Valley tonight is all-star forward, you could call her forward, defensive forward, Hannah Bruce, who was out at least 2 or 3 matches with a bum ankle. And that is a position that is not filled very easily, and Utah Valley is glad to have her back. As Megan Sullivan tries to penetrate down toward the end line, sends this one in toward the box, and poked away by the Aggies.
Yeah, we definitely have seen how the team has missed Hannah Bruce's presence the past couple of days. She's just such a crucial, strong player that is hard to replace.
Julie Carter tees this one up off the left foot and goes way out of play. And in frigid temperatures like this, Melanie, obviously girls that are from this area are used to this temperature. They played with it. But how hard is it really to get the blood pumping and to not be so uptight out there?
It's a hard task because, it is freezing out there. But they are good at controlling what they can control. They can't control the weather. They can't control the elements that they play in. But they can control how hard they play. And when they play hard, they end up getting warmer.
There's a whistle against the Aggies on the far side of the pitch. Hannah Bruce had some space and received a shove from behind. Head referee Taylor Mott blew the whistle. Brita Wall with the kick into the box and scooped up nicely by Fong. Early on in the match here at Clyde Field, 6th minute. Utah Valley has the lone shot on goal registered for both squads. Nice ball movement here by Utah Valley. There's a shot right at Fong. Make that 2 shots on goal and 2 saves by Fong. Amber Tripp not cold at all with that shot.
Definitely not. Running all over the field. You can tell she's just such a star player. That was a beautiful movement through UVU. Amber Tripp going from the left field all the way to the right to get that shot off, showing why she's so good at that midfield position she plays.
Fong's pass on the far side, a little bit too far, goes out of play, and Utah Valley elects to strike quickly with a throw-in. Good ball movement between the Wolverines. And an extra touch off the Aggies, goes out of play. Hannah Bruce, throw it in to Brita Wall. Brita Wall turns, 1 touch by Maddie Moore, lays it off to Katie Haskins. Haskins with the header from Julie Carter, too far, out of play. Intended target was Megan Sullivan. Now that Hannah Bruce is back in, we're seeing Megan Sullivan switch up her position. She was playing the defensive backside. Now they've switched her to going forward a lot more often. Heather Stainbrook. Referee looked like he was going to blow the whistle, instead plays the advantage for the Aggies. Jenna Shepard Pokes this one to Amber Tripp. Back to Hannah Bruce for Utah Valley. Jenna Shepard to Haskins. Megan Sullivan now on the near side. And this one will go out of play. Haskins will play this back to Hara. Hara up to Sullivan. Nice touch. Keep it down in front of her. Maddie Moore. Katie Haskins. Lays it back to Ali Hara. Hannah Bruce shows off that strength, maintains possession. The one-touch pass to Stainbrook. Stainbrook lays it off to Carter. Carter with the nice spin attempt. Gets just past her into the hands of Fong.
A great idea by both Heather Stainbrook and Julie Carter. Heather doing a great job dribbling the ball up, taking it into that space, committing that defender, and laying it off to Julie. Julie with the great idea, knowing that she had her left side open to roll into for hopefully a strike after she got open, but unfortunately let the ball ricochet off her and go right to the goalie. Ultimately, though, some pretty good creative attack that we're seeing in the attacking third from UVU, and as that's something that a lot of teams struggle with most, is keeping that possession in the attacking third, being creative and patient, waiting for that prime shot for the ability to score.
And those are things that come through a series of trials and errors against harder teams, which Coach LeMay has wanted to expose his team to early on in non-conference games.
Exactly, and you know that it's successful, or they're building on it, when you see that they are seeing those glimpses of successes against those challenging teams that Chris has on the schedule.
Tenth minute at Clyde Field, still 0-0. Utah Valley with possession. Nice inbound pass, good turn by Julie Carter. Julie Carter to Amber Tripp in the box. Amber Tripp again, stopped by Fong. Just a matter of time before Utah Valley can fully open the door, but right now, Fong and company behind it with their shoulders up against the woodwork saying, you can't come in. And Fong single-handedly keeping this game 0-0.
She is. Between that and Amber Tripp maybe not striking it as well as she wants, or placing it as well as she wants it. Her strikes have been phenomenal. A couple inches to the right or left, maybe towards the corner a little bit more, and those are in the back of the net.
Hannah Bruce, Amber Tripp on the far side of the pitch. Ali Hara. Sullivan. Haskins with the deke. Lays it back to Hara. Now to Shepard. Shepard to Bruce. Amber Tripp lays it out to Breda Wall, who has lots of space in front of her. Stainbrook with the one touch just outside of the box. Carter lays it back off to DeWall. DeWall cuts back to her left. And DeWall thought about a shot, gets deflected. Maddie Moore reclaims possession for Utah Valley. Jenna Shepard bobbing and weaving her way through the defense. Nice touch by Sadie Brockbank. Sadie Brockbank brought down. Referee says no call. And Fong puts a boot on it. Taken out of the air by Utah Valley and Stainbrook. Maddie Moore. Now Katie Haskins. Good turn. Breida Wall. Breida Wall enters the box, lays it off, trying to find Brockbank. Brockbank still trying to get it, and kicked out by the Aggies. And a foul is called against Utah Valley. Kaiser the intended target, and quickly the Aggies roll out into formation on the offensive side. Kaiser again, dispossessed now by Utah Valley. Breida Wall to Brockbank. Brockbank now to Tripp. Tripp on the left-hand side. Brockbank dodges a defender, tries to put one past the diving Fong, who stops it and goes out of play, or she keeps it in play rather. Looked like for a moment that she might have been on the line. Stays in play. .14th minute, just about a quarter through an hour here at Clyde Field. Action starting to heat up just a little bit more for the home team in the pink and white. Stainbrook receives a shove, continues to push. Brockbank loses possession. And here's a quick outlet by the Aggies. A nice move there to get around Jenna Shepard. Here's Leitner. Leitner behind the defense inside the box. Here's Leitner, tries to get this one past Hara, just outside.
Such a close call for New Mexico State. I know that she'll want that back. Unfortunately, tried going near post instead of the wide open far post, but to be New Mexico's key to success is to beat Jenna Shepard like that. That was a mistake from Jenna that you see very rarely. She dove in, got a little too excited, allowing New Mexico State to blow right past her, and that something that Jenna needs to be aware of, but New Mexico State particularly, if they can get Jenna Shepard to stab like that and run in and get a run right in behind her, they'll see plenty of success.
An uncharacteristic move from Shepard gives way to the scariest moment so far for Utah Valley. New Mexico is right at the door, and it was inches away from breaking through. Fong's kick. Initially was waved in favor of New Mexico State. Then mid-sentence almost, and trying to explain it, the referee switched up and said, "Oh, sorry, my bad." Referee Taylor Mott is coming over to Heather Stainbrook. Have a quick word with Stainbrook, who runs over into position. Breida Wall and Katie Haskins, Hannah Bruce are back for Utah Valley. DeWall sends this one toward that far post. And a one-hopper right into Fong's hands. Nobody home to head that one down. And a quick outlet on the right-hand side of the pitch for New Mexico State. Bruce up to Tripp. Tripp gets dispossessed. Ball bounces off of Sadie Brockbank right to Julie Carter. Back to Tripp. Now to Brockbank, who's onside. A little bit too far for Brockbank. Still in play. Now Breida Wall wins it back for the Wolverines and quickly taken away by New Mexico State. Hernandez battling with Breida Wall on the far side. Hernandez goes down. Referee says no call. Julie Carter trying to find Sadie Brockbank. Again, back in New Mexico State possession. Sullivan does well to win that one down in the air and takes it back for New Mexico State. Quickly throws it back in. Julie Carter. Beautiful turn. Nice touch. Good solid defense by Shea O'Connor to step in front of Julie Carter and take that one away. You got to love, and it has to put a smile on your face to watch a player like Julie Carter take those one touches and spin moves. But here comes New Mexico State now in the box. New Mexico State with another good opportunity here. Jenna Shepard being tied up with a lot of physical contact from Gonzalez. The New Mexico State bench is looking for a call. Very similar call looked like to what happened to Sadie Brockbank on the other side of the pitch. And no call from either side. That looked like a lot of contact from our vantage point.
It sure did. Might have to think of wanting a comeback call.
Here's Sadie Brockbank now in the box. Sadie Brockbank's shot, not enough sauce on it to get past Fong. Temperatures in the high 30s, but the action on the pitch is heating things up here. 19th minute at Clyde Field in Orem, Utah. Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler. Thank you for letting us be a part of your Thursday evening on the WAC Digital Network. Stainbrook had this one down to Sadie Brockbank. Back to Stainbrook. Looking for Amber Tripp. Instead, Fong will come and gather it.
Another great idea by Heather Stainbrook. She loves those through balls, those slot balls, any gap and space that you can give her between the back line. Heather Stainbrook does such a good job at trying to thread that ball through the gap. And unfortunately, sometimes has a little too much pace right to the keeper, but the more you do it, the better the pace you can anticipate.
And Bruce, the intended target. Aviles, the recipient of Bruce's shoulder. Gets the foul call on Bruce. And it'll be a free kick taken by Fong. Bree DeWall heads this one down to Brockbank. Brockbank gives it right back to DeWall. DeWall to her right. Lays it off for Carter. Carter with the one touch. Back to DeWall. DeWall trying to slide it back down through to Stainbrook. Taken away by New Mexico State. Jenna Shepard, another collision on the far side, this time with Leitner. Foul's called against Utah Valley. That'll be a throw-in. Maddie Moore with the turn for the Wolverines. Receives the ball back. Stainbrook now with it. Left foot over the defender. Right into the hands. Beautiful spot of Sadie Brockbank, rather. Brockbank slides this one, trying to go near post again. Not sure if that was a shot or if that was a little bit too hard of a pass. She had a couple targets there near post.
She sure did. Again, going back to Heather Stainbrook, perfect height of the ball right into Sadie, into that space. Sadie with the beautiful turn. My guess is that it probably was intended to be a cross, and unfortunately got a little too close to the goalie instead of the 6-yard box area where she had her teammates crashing the ball, or crashing the box, ready for that ball. But unfortunately too close to Fong and right into her arms.
Amber Tripp lays it off for Bree DeWall. And again, same familiar broken record as far as names go for Utah Valley on the offensive attack. Yet here we are, still 0-0. Bree DeWall with the shifty moves on the left-hand side of the pitch. Instead, lays it back to Hannah Bruce. And Bruce with a spin move of her own. Bruce being pestered by Emma Smith. Emma Smith doing a nice job defensively to shut down Bruce, who's no slouch on the offensive side either.
No, there was definitely not Hannah Bruce doing the forward position like you said we missed, of her running up, going the attack, and right in position to do a quick throw-in.
23rd minute. A little over halfway through this first half. Utah Valley and New Mexico State still knotted up at 0. Utah Valley has been knocking at the door repeatedly. And Phone continues to shut it. Solid throw in from the far side for Utah Valley. Finds Sadie Brockbank in the corner. And this ball was last touched by the Aggies, and it'll be a corner kick taken very quickly and short by the Wolverines. And a nice defensive stop by the Aggies to kick it away. Julie Carter chests it down to herself, bouncing up in the air. Carter trying to lay it off for Stainbrook. Stainbrook with the poke, trying to find a breakthrough. Amber trip. Instead, Phone comes up to get it. Maddie Moore to Jenna Shepard. Shepard plays it back to Haskins. Haskins in the center logo. And the Aggie side of the pitch to Sadie Brockbank, who's posting up. And this ball's kicked out of play. It'd be a New Mexico State throw-in.
Coach Chris LeMay on the sideline instructing Heather Stainbrook and Julie Carter to turn inwards on those throw-ins, and couldn't be more correct. Of you're trying to go towards goal. You got to see in that situation where the line treats as another defender, and you just got to turn in towards goal where the space is.
That's a great move by Corey Kaiser to get past Jenna Shepard for New Mexico State. They earn their throw-in in the 25th minute as we see Jocelyn Bybee getting some instruction from Coach LeMay and set to check in at the next opportune moment. Sadie Brockbank to Julie Carter for Utah, all the way back to Katie Haskins. Haskins. Moore. Now Bruce with the toe poke to find Breeda Wall. Back to Bruce. Bruce to Stainbrook. Now to Haskins. Haskins' ball finds the jet stream, goes well out of play. Maybe a goal kick for Fong. And Julie Carter will step off and get a rest. And Jocelyn Bybee will step on. Megan Sullivan's cleats came untied and received some help from her teammates. And Jocelyn Bybee receives her first touch. Bybee does well to go 1v1. Lays it off down toward the end line for Megan O'Sullivan. And they're going to call a foul against Utah Valley. Goal kick awarded to Fong. And some substitutions now for New Mexico State. And head coach Rob Bartz stepping off the pitch is Eludith Gonzalez. And Jody Hernandez stepping onto the pitch is Barea. Sadie Brockbank now for Utah Valley to Jocelyn Bybee just outside the box. penetrates the box, sprints towards that end line. And this one is deflected off of Maddie Franklin and be a corner kick for Utah Valley. Utah Valley's first goal they allowed on Sunday in Bakersfield came off of a set piece very similar to this. See if Utah Valley can find a goal from their own set piece. Lay this one back to Sullivan, who sends this one in toward the box. Gets past Fong. Amber Tripp puts it through. Utah Valley 1, New Mexico State nothing in the 28th minute.
A great job by UVU. Their short corner worked what they were intending to do, drawing the defenders out to Megan Sullivan. Megan Sullivan allowing that great service in. Perfect space between Amber Tripp and the goalie, leaving Gong not knowing what exactly to do. Amber Tripp doing a brilliant job at causing a little Gong to be a little frazzled and was able to sneak it into the back of the net.
Sullivan with the patience, just slips past Fong, and Tripp was right there to put it through and to clean it up. Like we talked about many times before, Utah Valley trying to be better at cleaning up the garbage, taking out the garbage in places like that, and Amber Tripp was there.
Definitely, and that's the most important play of the game to do so. Corner kicks are so crucial to clean up the garbage wherever it bounces out, sending it in towards goal.
Amber Tripp, who's hungry for more. Great touch there by Stainbrook to find more. There's Jocelyn Bybee. Jocelyn Bybee cuts to her left. Bybee's going to try and send a low worm burner. This one kicked back out. Maddie Moore lays it back off. Stainbrook trying to find Brita Wall. A little bit of miscommunication there.
Brita Wall may have thought that she was holding herself offsides in the offsides position, maybe wasn't ready for Heather's quick ball back to her, and found herself in a position not to receive the ball.
Now New Mexico State playing from behind. As if it wasn't urgent before, now it increases just a bit more. We've reached the half-hour mark of the match. About 15 minutes left here in the first. Utah Valley on top 1-0, courtesy of an Amber Tripp goal in the 28th. Credit Megan Sullivan with the assist. Sullivan's ball came into the box. A one-hopper. It just got through the hands of Fong. And Amber Tripp, who was the intended target, was there to clean it up and put it in the back of the net safely. Jocelyn Bybee. Sullivan with the left boot. Oh, Amber Tripp trying to find the header.
If Sullivan feels most confident in any of her skills, it's that service ball right there. Does such a great job at seeing the ball, putting it in towards the cross with the players crashing in. And you can see why it's confident. She gets a couple assists off of it as well.
Shepard gets tripped up from behind. Foul called, free kick. Looks like Hannah Rivera, the guilty party for the Aggies. Now Sadie Brockbank is going to churn and try and fire one. And Fong keeps this one in play. Sullivan, back to Moore. Moore, who has fantastic composure, continues to do well in that midfield position.
She really does. Since her freshman year to now, just really controls that midfield.
Hannah Bruce sprints over to get the ball on the far side pitch. The shadows start inching ever more westward from the bottom of your screen. Sullivan, the recipient, lays this one down the line to Jocelyn Bybee. Bybee into the box, and Stainbrook kicks this one down.
In the right position, maybe body angled, not the angle she wanted to, angled away from goal, resulting in that touch, shot, pass out of bounds. But a little adjustment to her body, anticipating it, and being able to get her body faced up towards goal would have been a little closer to goal.
Stainbrook now going far post, a little bit too far, goes out of play. So far, we've seen Utah Valley early in this match, Melanie, just continue to peg that far post, coming in from the right-hand side of the pitch, right in front of their own box. Are you seeing anything out there that would make them try and really target that area?
Well, it always helps with the being on this strong side and getting the ball from one point to the attack to the other, that weak side where the defensive shape is shift over this way. Their attention's all on this left side of the ball, where those long diagonal balls into the box often catches defensive lines not in the proper shape. They need to then hurry and quickly shift to the open girls of UVU, but it always helps to switch the point of attack quickly like that because of what I said of catching the New Mexico State off guard. But ultimately, we've seen it a few times. It worked out once. I would love to see them start trying something new because New Mexico State is getting used to it, of reading the play, knowing what UVU is going to do. It's a little too predictable now that they've done it a few times.
Here comes Utah Valley now. A little bit too far, goes out of play, and some fresh legs are set to check in. Amanda Mangelson and Cassidy McCormick and Nicole Olanda. And Sadie Brockbank will step off, Amber Tripp will step off, and Brita Wall will step off. Great closing speed for New Mexico State there by Barea. So far this first half, the possession scale has tipped in great favor of the Wolverines. 6 shots on goal, 2 corners. They haven't officially credited New Mexico State with the shot on goal. I would say that shot that went near post was technically a shot on goal for me.
It was pretty close. A couple centimeters to the left, and it would have been in goal.
To say that Utah Valley is motivated would probably be an understatement, dropping their first opener on Sunday, playing 2 back-to-back games at home where they are very comfortable. And coming out and playing a game like this, scoring very early on in the first half.
Yeah, this weekend is definitely their weekend to prove themselves, to start going with WAC play again. I know how frustrating it must have been for the team dropping that first WAC play after working so hard this preseason for conference play and having a result like that. So this is definitely, hopefully, going to be their turning point to a great conference season.
Stainbrook with it, lays it off for Haskins. Haskins slips on the turf, does well to win her possession back, and Shepard plays it back to Hara. And Hara's ball deflects. Goes out of play. Barrera, last touch. Mangelson mistimed the header. Barrera. And Haskins. Stainbrook. Sullivan. Sends it in the air. Not a bad idea considering the flagpoles are directly a perpendicular shape. Cassian McCormick took a big hit. Slow to get up. Free kick with the wind in favor of Utah Valley. Hannah Bruce elects to go to a sprinting Katie Haskins. Haskins sends this one in toward the box, bouncing around on the pitch. And this one will go high and out of play. It looked like Sullivan was the one who kicked it with the left foot. Had an opening from our angle.
No. Unfortunately, that was a beautiful play and a beautiful breakdown by UVU. I loved how they got Katie Haskins into the attack like that, allowing her to show off her leg strength. She has a great ball service, and it was a beautiful service in. Unfortunately, had a few shots, some ricocheting off of Pink itself, and then Megan Sullivan with a great follow-up shot, but maybe thought she was a further back than she was.
Amanda Mangelson sells out, trying to keep that ball in Utah Valley possession. Haskins jostling with Katie Martinez for New Mexico State. Substitution made by New Mexico State. Kelly Burton stepped on for Maddie Franklin. So we're in the 39th minute. Stainbrook's pass a little bit too far for Orlando. And this ball will be kicked back upfield by New Mexico State, headed down by Utah Valley. And Stainbrook trying to find McCormick. Barrera with the header. And Stainbrook, who never stops with energy, kicks it back to Mangelson, who lets this one go through her legs. Barrera now for New Mexico State. Missed touch. And a throw in for Utah Valley. Stainbrook now toward that end line. Stainbrook showing off that speed. Lays it back in toward the box. And right in the hands of Fong.
To go off of what you said about Heather Stainbrook always having that constant energy, something that I love most about her too is that she just seems to come out of nowhere in a lot of the moments. That energy just results in her being all over the place and bursting in to the play just like that in the middle of nowhere, and it's such a good strength of hers, and kind of catches New Mexico State off guard with her all over the place, not knowing who should mark her.
Mangelson with it for the Wolverines. Kicks this one off of Burton. And it'll be a corner kick for the Wolverines. Just shy of a corner kick. It'll be a throw, and Amanda Mangelson takes it. And now it's an official corner kick for the Wolverines. Maybe a little bit of impatience by Utah Valley. Not waiting until everybody's fully set up. Didn't let the play develop quite fully. And it can happen when it's about 32 degrees outside.
You have that need to keep moving so you don't feel the cold breeze, cold air.
Alihara coming out of her keeper box to kick this one upfield. Burton corrals it for the Aggies. Back to Haskins for Utah Valley and the Wolverines. Jocelyn Bybee in a full sprint trying to get to it. Couldn't quite get there. Maddie Moore. Stainbrook. Mangelson with a great turn. Mangelson trying to lay this one down on the far post. Diving Fong gets past her. Nobody home to clear it in.
A great ball in by Amanda. Maybe caught her own teammates off guard a little bit, not knowing that she was going to be able to get that turn off. And the shot that just nearly crept far post, you saw Jocelyn a little reactive to the ball instead of being a little bit more proactive, ready to crash that goal and get the ball as it rolled past Fong's fingertips.
Bybee goes down, referee plays on, and finally a whistle is called. And this will be a great spot for the Wolverines. Referee reaches into his pocket, pulls out the magic spray, marks his territory, and lays it off for Heather Stainbrook. "43rd minute, Utah Valley on top 1-0, courtesy of an Amber Tripp goal in the 28th. Stainbrook looking to the sidelines, trying to find exactly what Coach LeMay has in store. Stainbrook and Bruce. Stainbrook tees one up, just barely trims off the outside post. Solid effort.
Very solid effort. You saw her confusion of trying to examine the situation of what the best thing is to do. And when you're in that prime of a spot right outside the 18, a great fired shot from that is honestly a no-brainer in my opinion.
McCormick chests it down, gets hit from behind. No call. Maddie Moore lays this one off for Katie Haskins. Haskins trying to play the through ball to Olanda. Dispossessed by the Aggies. Now dispossessed yet again by Utah Valley. Little over a minute and a half left to play in the first half. Utah Valley on top 1-0. New Mexico State trying to find the equalizer. Had their best chance in about the 15th minute. Olanda stops it. Switches up. Stainbrook. Olanda. Headed down by Mangelson right at Fong. Lots of fluidity in this Utah Valley offense so far here in this first half. Lots of different names being called. Lots of different targets. Hannah Bruce, 40 seconds left in the first half. Here comes Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce going toward that end line, gets toe poked away by New Mexico State. Good job by Emma Smith. It's the second time she has dispossessed Hannah Bruce in a similar situation. 20 seconds left in the half. Bruce gets past her defender. Bruce sends this one in toward the box. Still in play. Stainbrook trying to play this one going back. Stainbrook over the head of Fong and out of play. And that will be how the first half ends. Utah Valley gets a goal from Amber Tripp in the 28th minute after a cross that was sent in by Megan Sullivan. Deflects off of the hands of Fong. But Tripp was right there to put it in the back of the net. I know it's very cold, Melanie, but overall your first half thoughts from Utah Valley's performance?
A pretty good performance from UVU. I think there's a few different situations that Coach Chris LeMay will ask to clean up a little bit, but overall 0 shots on goal for New Mexico State according to the stats. Major hats off to the back line for that, and 6 or 7 shots on goal for UVU. It's awesome. It looks like a great result. Hopefully they can start converting some of those shots on goal.
Well, we'll take a break. We'll try and go find some hand warmers somewhere, but Utah Valley is on top 1-0 here at Clyde Field in Orem, Utah.
How does Costa Vida create the ultimate sweet pork burrito? We start by following our award-winning recipe, one that calls for everything to be made fresh, from scratch every day. Like our beautifully braised pork, seasoned beans, savory sauces, and delicious cilantro lime rice. Even our tortillas are cooked to order. It's a difference you can taste. Treat yourself to the ultimate sweet pork burrito, only at Costa Vida.
If we can see things for what they are, if we can see what they could be, if the plastic we use, we never throw away, if the end of one thing could be the beginning of the next. If we know that less can create more. If we can return, we reciprocate, we regenerate. If we are here for others, if we can work as a team, all we have to do is connect, and the world opens up. The future is about giving back.
To national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access.
Ready to go?
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
What's the difference between buying from Murdoch and buying from somebody else? In a word, confidence. You'll love our price match guarantee, our 5-day exchange policy, and don't forget car washes and safety inspections for life. If you need a new vehicle, consider Murdoch Hyundai. I promise you'll love it.
Thinking of buying a home? Think bigger. Because with UCCU's low interest rates and low mortgage insurance rates, you could qualify for more house with the same payment you could get from other local lenders. A mortgage with UCCU gives you more purchase power. That means more money you can put into your home or back into your pocket. To learn more, visit uccu.com/morehouse or stop by any UCCU branch today. Morehouse, same payment. Only at UCCU, inspiring smart mortgage decisions.
In the WAC, we value sportsmanship on the field,
on the track, on the court, in the pool,
and in the stands.
We take pride in playing fair and being honest.
We honor the game by showing respect for our opponents,
the officials,
the fans, and our team.
Great sportsmanship is about keeping everything in perspective.
It's about taking ownership after a loss.
And being humble after a win.
We hope you'll team up with us by staying positive on the sidelines. Because great sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Make some noise!
Let's do this.
Hey. Come on.
Creative, the world needs an answer. Give us the answer. Creativity is the answer. Never play on repeat. Put your own spin on things. Let a new wave begin.
All right, come on, let's go.
2 seconds.
Creators run the show.
We want the answer.
From the cage to the stage. Rise up from the streets to the pros.
So much.
Creativity is the answer to a world divided. Tear down those walls. Make worlds unite. script. Rewrite the room. Creativity is the answer. Now over to you.
Who am I? And furthermore, what do I want? What makes you itch? That's the most important investigation anyone can make. But you don't find this out until you investigate it. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Because if you say that money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. Forget the money. After all, if you do really like what you're doing, you can eventually become a master of it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. Therefore, it's so important to consider this question. What do I desire?
The latest from KSL 5 News, including breaking news as it happens, and all your favorite KSL shows, ready to watch anytime. Download the free KSL app right now on all your favorite devices.
You only need to answer one question.
Will you accept the challenge to become?
It doesn't matter your situation in life.
No matter your interest.
Whether your first choice or second chance.
There's a place for you.
Place for you.
Place for you at UVU.
Place to engage,
to rise,
to succeed,
to become.
What's the difference between buying from Murdoch and buying from somebody else? In a word, confidence. You'll love our price match guarantee, our 5-day exchange policy, and don't forget car washes and safety inspections for life. If you need a new vehicle, consider Murdoch Hyundai. I promise you'll love it.
Welcome back to Clyde Field, ladies and gentlemen, where Utah Valley has the lead 1-0 as we just start the second half. Amber Tripp got credited with the goal in the 28th minute, courtesy of a Megan Sullivan cross. The ball took one hop, slipped under the hands of a diving Dimitri Fong, and Amber Tripp was right there to cash it in. Utah Valley dominated the possession in that first half, Melanie, but what impressed you the most?
What they've been doing the best the whole season is what impressed me the most. The quick movements, getting the ball off their foot, the give and goes, immediately getting the ball back after they passed it to their teammate. Just that quick movement from back to the attacking third, from right of the field to left of the field. They've just been moving and possessing the ball very well. It shows in the possession percentages. Roughly 66% of the possession was UVU's, but that quick movement that they have been doing so well this whole season was, we saw a good amount of it the first half, and I love seeing that, the quick tiki-taka soccer.
Well, Heather Stainbrook got credited with 3 shots herself. Sadie Brockbank with 4, and 3 of those 4 were shots on goal. Amber Tripp had 3 shots, and all 3 of those shots were shots on goal, and one of those shots on goal being the lone goal that separates the two squads right now, 1-0. And we will switch sides. So now, as you see it and as we see it, the New Mexico State Aggies will start the half going from left to right on your television screen, wearing their road reds with the black stripes and the white numbers. And Utah Valley, again, in their home pinks in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the month of October. They'll be going from right to left as you see it and as we see it as well. Hannah Bruce steps inside the Willie the Wolverine logo at center pitch, and Willie the Wolverine had a special day on campus a few weeks back. Very first statue commemorating the mascot. The fan favorite, except for my little nephew. Willie got scared.
They warm up eventually.
Once they hit a certain age. Speaking of warming up, the players did a little bit of that at halftime, trying to go in the nice warm tents. But now they are back out on the pitch, and Sadie Brockbank explodes past her defender and explodes with a big shot to open up the gates here in the second half. A little bit wide, but that's what Sadie Brockbank does. She had 4 shots on goal. She led the 4 shots in total in that first half, and now with that shot makes that 5, leading both teams. The lone 2 shots for New Mexico State came from Hannah Leitner and Corey Kaiser. Stainbrook with the flick to Brockbank. Brockbank past the defender. Brockbank in the box, right at Fong. Brockbank switching it up even, going with the left boot. But still, Fong was there to take it away. Now New Mexico State trying to get their attack on. Down toward the end line, still in play, kept alive. Now Jenna Shepard lets this one go all the way back to Ali Hara, scoops it up. Hara, the 5th-year senior, transfer from San Diego from the WCC. But now there's Julie Carter. Back line from New Mexico State, stepping up to take that one away. Katie Haskins stepping up from her backline spot from Utah Valley, now dancing around a couple defenders. Now to Brita Wall. Brita Wall switches up the field. Goes to Julie Carter. One touch. Looking for Sadie Brockbank. Brockbank again gets past her defender. And a tag team of defense by the Aggies takes that one away. Now here comes another shot way outside from Sullivan. The 2-hopper right into Fong's hands. Maddie Moore's header. Right into the feet of New Mexico State. Now Amber Tripp comes all the way back for Utah Valley. And Hannah Bruce takes it just past midfield. And a poor deflection up in the air. Wins its way back to Mexico State. And a Utah Valley throw-in. Heather Stainbrook for Utah Valley. Now Maddie Moore again for the Wolverines. Lays it back to Julie Carter. I beg your pardon. Megan Sullivan. Haskins. And Carter lets that one bounce off her leg. Be a throw-in for the Aggies. Game time temperatures to start. We're at 42 with the wind chill factor down to 38. But now it's starting the second half. Game time temperatures 38 with the wind chill factor of 34.
New Mexico doing a great job at preventing UVU from settling into their possession this half. They've been having a very hard time keeping the ball and playing the feet and keeping it at the feet and holding the play up while we have options.
Heather Stainbrook lays it up to Breida Wall. Breida Wall inside New Mexico State territory. Goes left to Amber Tripp. Going up to Sadie Broadbank. Sadie Broadbank chests this one down. Now back to Amber Tripp, the goal scorer for Utah Valley. Amber Tripp cuts back to her right. Slices this one toward goal right into Fong's hands. It's tough to see whether or not that was going to be a shot or she was trying to find Julie Carter.
I think she was definitely trying to find Julie Carter. She saw her even with the line, saw that space in behind. But yeah, when you kind of have too much pace on the ball, it makes it difficult to tell. And especially on Julie Carter's part as well. She doesn't want to interfere anything that maybe she thought would be a better shot. But yeah, ultimately, knowing Amber Tripp and knowing her quality of shot, I think it's safe to say that she was trying to play that through ball to Julie Carter.
It's a good move down toward the end line by New Mexico State. Deflected off of Utah Valley and be the first corner kick for the Aggies. So the Aggies starting off the second half offensively a little bit more aggressive than we saw them in the first. And they get a first corner kick. It'll be a conference to see who exactly will be the one taking it. Smith sent this one in. It's a dangerous ball as bodies were falling onto the pitch. Allie Hara was in a very vulnerable position, but she recovers very well and scoops that one up with ease.
She does. I think that's going to be the number one task for UVU this half is to prevent these opportunities for New Mexico State. We've seen so many times with UVU this season that they absolutely dominate, and as we know in the game of soccer, that one mental break or run of play that really honestly the first that the other team had with the domination of UVU can result in a goal, and so they'll need to do everything they can to control their dominance of play to prevent those funky opportunities to happen for New Mexico State.
A solid piece of defending from the back line for New Mexico State to try and thwart that Utah Valley counter. And New Mexico State looks a lot more composed defensively and offensively, just all around, coming out here in the early minutes of the second half.
They sure do. It's a new half, you know, that they listen to their coach at halftime. We know the coaches probably had a lot of calm down, play your game, focus, and you'll be good. And it's working out. They've come out and improved their play a whole lot from the first half.
Utah Valley corner kick, as we see Amber Tripp right there trying to establish herself by Fong toward that near post. Heather Stainbrook will kick it in for the Wolverines. 54th minute. Stainbrook with her hand in the air. Sends this one in. Center of the box. Bounces around, gets past Utah Valley. Sadie Brockbank, the intended target. And Brockbank falls on the floor, using her body to maintain possession. Now Maddie Moore with the touch to Julie Carter. Back to Brita Wallace, switches up the pitch. Goes back to Stainbrook. Stainbrook laying it off. A nice diving takeaway there by Kaiser. And this one is kicked out of play and be a throw-in for the Wolverines. Julie Carter with a nice turn. Runs into an Aggie and draws the foul just outside of the box. Gonzalez, the guilty party. And as soon as Julie Carter turned around to try and get position, ran straight into Gonzalez. Eludith Gonzalez gives way for Utah Valley right outside the box. Stainbrook chips this one in toward that far post. Trying to find Jenna Shepard to head that one down. Now Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp back toward Maddie Moore. Maddie Moore falls down, and another call. Another whistle against the against the Aggies. And Maddie Moore rubbing the right knee. Hannah Bruce, the middleman, relaying signals back to the trainer. And Maddie Moore signifies that she is okay. And we see Brita Wall and Stainbrook standing over the ball. And it's been fun to watch the evolution of Heather Stainbrook. We'll get into this a little bit more after this free kick here, Melanie. But as we see Stainbrook lay this one off for Brita Wall and expose the play. And we'll have to do it all over again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that was going to be a beautiful play. You saw it. Now I kind of have to recycle, see what different play to do because they see the play on Bill and won't be able to do that one again.
So now Brita Wall is going to take it herself and lay it off for Julie Carter. Julie Carter right at Fong. Carter had a whole acre of space in front of her.
She did, and she is usually so good at putting those balls in the back of the net. Probably the best placement shooter on the team.
Now Utah Valley finds more space. Here is Stainbrook. Stainbrook with the left shot. The left foot shot. Nobody home to put it in. And a great turn now into Utah Valley territory by the Aggies. Gonzalez lays it back. And this one headed up in the air by the Aggies. Julie Carter slide tackles and takes this one away. Aggie throwing from the far side. And Kelly Burton gets it in quickly. 58th minute. Brita Wall steps in front of it. Take it away for the Wolverines. Sadie Brockbank with the one touch, trying to get around her defender. Finds possession. Aviles. Julie Carter with it. Little stutter step by Carter. Plays it back to Moore. And Moore gets taken away. And Brita Wall goes down. New Mexico State still with possession. Kaiser. Right to Hannah Bruce. Amber Tripp couldn't get to it. And Jocelyn Bybee set to check back in now for Utah Valley. But not before New Mexico State has a say. The longest time of possession offensively New Mexico State has had in Utah Valley territory. And New Mexico State going to send this one in toward the box, bouncing all around. And Ali Hara comes up with a diving save to stop it before it crosses the line.
A huge play by Ali Hara as it deflects off of one of her own teammates. Almost right into the back of the net. Way to be on her toes, anticipating that deflection of what she was originally anticipating to happen. But props to New Mexico State, like you said, that was the best possession and a great through ball to result that cross that we just saw. That was, again, probably one of their most dangerous plays of the game.
Looks like it deflected off of Haskins. As we see the shadows again creeping more and more across the pitch. Nice heads-up play by Hara to keep it out 1-0, but New Mexico State knocking on the door, going toward near post. Ali Hara steps up right into her hands and quickly tries to throw it back out to Brita Wall, but taken right back by New Mexico State. Aggies trying to set something up very nicely now for themselves offensively. Hannah Bruce comes in, takes this one away. The referee signals play on. Leitner has been able to go 1v1 with Bruce, and she's the one that's been able to penetrate the most offensively into the box for the Aggies. But now here comes Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp cuts back to her right side, lays this one off for Brita Wall in full stride. DeWall pulls back. And a good switch of the field by New Mexico State, but the ball goes out of play. Substitution now for Utah Valley. Jocelyn Bybee checks in for Julie Carter. And I don't know if you're able to see it on the TV or not, but Hannah Bruce is right in front of us, about ready to throw the ball in, and she is breathing very heavily, and you can just see a big breath of air indicating how cold it is out there. Haskins. Amber Tripp. Maddie Moore. Now here comes New Mexico State. Emma Smith in some space. Smith with those long strides trying to go past Moore. Now Bruce lays this one back to Hara. Hara back up the pitch. Stainbrook with the header. Amber Tripp kicks it back upfield. Hannah Bruce going to Sadie Brockbank. Brockbank fighting for position against Pacheco. Whistle is called against Sadie Brockbank. .62nd minute, past the hour mark in the match. Utah Valley again on top 1-0. If you are just now joining us, Amber Tripp credited with the goal in the 28th minute. And that is what separates the two squads. New Mexico State struggled to find their offense in the first half, has settled down quite significantly here in the second half. They've had a couple chances early on. Ali Hara has stepped up to make the saves when necessary. And that ball goes out off of Utah Valley. And Nikki Olanda is set to come in for Utah Valley where possible. Again, big shout out to our camera crews, especially the ones you can see on your television screen in the shadows, giving you the high angled shots, bearing the cold winds down on the corners of the pitch as well, and on their little mini towers. There's a good touch in the box now for New Mexico State. Ali Hara playing it near post. And the ever-dangerous Hannah Leitner, again, the #1 target for New Mexico State.
She definitely has been, and she's been creeping closer and closer with the being on that weak side and crashing in towards goal and being an extreme threat.
Stainbrook trying to chip this one over the defense for Sadie Brockbank. Leitner again trying to do everything she can to spark something offensively for the Aggies. Brockbank chests this one down towards herself. Brockbank frustrated. She's not getting a call against her. Now Jocelyn Bybee in pursuit as the Aggies switch it up and go to the other side. Haskins will chase it down. Jocelyn Bybee does well to win that one back for the Wolverines. Plays it back to Brady Wall toward the center. Brady Wall with an inside-out toe poke to find Jenna Shepard. And Jenna Shepard near side to Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce goes 1v1 past Leitner. Bruce to the wall. Sullivan send this one in toward the box. Nobody there for Utah Valley. Right into the hands of Foam.
That last little bit of movement might have been honestly the best possession that UVU's had this half. They've kind of gone away from their game plan this half, haven't been able to do those quick give and go passes that we were talking about that worked so well in first half. Kind of making some blind passes as well, and just needs to really clean it up and get back to their game plan and the way they play soccer. That is when they're the most successful, and we're seeing it this half. It's escaped them a little bit, and it hasn't been the prettiest soccer for UVU, and New Mexico State has been able to come back and answer more than UVU.
And you got to credit New Mexico State for doing everything they can to disrupt that. While that last play was developing, Sadie Brockbank was having a conversation with head referee Taylor Mott, and she was frustrated and let it out some words of affirmation, if you will, to a couple New Mexico State players, and she got a stern talking to. Amber Tripp trying to get this one on the volley. Instead, just an easy one-hopper to Foam. Meanwhile, the Hawaiian, Nicole Olanda, is set to check in and been stretching for probably a good 5 minutes.
And shivering as well. You can tell she's in for one her first winter here at UVU.
From one out-of-stater to another, I sympathize with her. And she will come in for Heather Stainbrook. And Sadie Bank, who is trying to petition herself to the head referee Taylor Mott that the reason why she was frustrated is that she's bleeding, comes over to have her hand tended to. And while Sadie Brockbank is getting tended to, Cassidy McCormick takes off her warm clothes, sprints over to the scorer's table, and will step onto the pitch right as the action commences. Olanda gets dispossessed, but the ball finds Katie Haskins. Haskins looking for Cassidy McCormick. Cassidy McCormick jostling for position against Aviles. And Aviles won the battle. This Fong sends this one high into the atmosphere. And on a cold night like this, when that thing comes down, it's got to hurt.
There's nothing worse than getting a cold ball, hard ball to a cold body.
There's been a couple of those tonight where you can see, or you can hear it from our vantage point at least. Cassidy McCormick lays it off for Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp zigs and zags her way across the pitch, lays it off to Nicole Olanda. Nicole Olanda is going to seize up the shot and forces Fong her first dive in the second half. The lights begin to come on here at Clyde Field. Again, this is the first of 2 games tonight here as the men's soccer team for Utah Valley gets set to take on the runners of CSU B. Cassidy McCormick slips in the paint in midfield. Does well to recover. Hannah Bruce and Leitner again. Leitner gets past her. And this is going to be a takedown on Shea O'Connor. Amanda Mangelson, Sadie Brockbank are checking back in for the Wolverines. And Barrera and Franklin are set to check back in for the Aggies. 70th minute, about 20 minutes left here in regulation. Utah Valley with the goal in the first half in the 28th minute from Amber Tripp. And that's where we stand 1-0. Utah Valley now in total 12 shots on goal to New Mexico State's 1 shot on goal. Amber Tripp steps off. Cassidy McCormick steps off as Sadie Brockbank checks back in for her. Jocelyn Bybee does well to get past the defenders. Sadie Brockbank looking for her target. Trying to find Amanda Mangelson, but a nice job defensively there by Pacheco to rise up and head it away. Breda Wall in the sunlight on the right-hand side of the pitch. Lays it off for Amanda Mangelson. Pacheco there to defend again. Sullivan sends his one in toward the box. Brockbank thought about the volley. Lays this one back. Breda Wall to Maddie Moore. Maddie Moore with the turn. Back to DeWall. And DeWall lays this one to Katie Haskins. Haskins somehow gets the ball back to Breda Wall, who plays it all the way back to Jenna Shepard for the reset. Hannah Bruce splits 2 defenders. Lays it off for Bybee. Bybee cuts to her left. Bybee penetrates. Bybee in the box. Bybee dribbles. Bybee shoots. Deflected and blocked. Corner kick for the Wolverines.
A great job by Jocelyn Bybee. I love it. I love seeing her confidence here as a freshman getting stronger and stronger. Great idea by the outside forward, dribbling up, and not only was she going with pace, she started cutting in towards goal, ultimately and immediately eliminating the New Mexico defenders to get a deflection for a corner kick. The next best thing you can do when you make those runs up.
Here's the corner sent in, headed down by New Mexico State. And finding the ever-dangerous Leitner. Leitner trying to go 1v1 with Bruce. Bruce deflects it. Ball finds Leitner again. Shepard again. And Bruce. So Leitner goes through 3 separate Utah Valley players. And a beautiful okey-doke by Hannah Bruce, who pulls the chair. And a whistle is called against Johnson Bybee. It's like a FIFA cheat code, Hannah Bruce, right there.
It definitely did, showing her little cheekiness side of knowing and anticipating what she was going to do and doing her best to kind of laugh at her.
And setting it up, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Hannah Bruce, again, first game back after missing 3 from an ankle injury that she suffered here on Children's Day against University of San Diego in a crazy weather delay-filled game. Mexico State not going away. A little over 15 minutes left to play in regulation, only down by 1. And they have definitely made Ali Hara sweat a little bit, especially here in the second half. Coming very close early on in the first half, just barely missing a goal by centimeters. And then in the second, almost missing a goal as well about 10 minutes ago. Utah Valley, Breda Wall loses her footing. And a nice turn there by O'Connor. But Haskins and Shepard are there to play it all the way back to Hara. And Hara sends this one into the stands. The Green Men Gang, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month and in support of Utah Valley Athletics, switching up the colors, the Pink Men Group, providing the rhythm and the soundtrack behind the scenes tonight. And Heather Stainbrook, Amber Tripp set to come back in for the Wolverines after a brief minute of rest. Sadie Brockbank finds herself on sides. Not enough power to get past the defenders. And Brockbank takes her time getting up. '76th minute. On the near side now to Maddie Franklin. And Leitner being double-teamed, sandwiched by Bybee and Bruce. Leitner gets back up. Ball bouncing around. And Hannah Bruce takes it away. Hannah Bruce with a beautiful ball to Sadie Brockbank. Brockbank is onside. Brockbank goes 1v1. Cuts right. Pulls up a shot right at Fong.
So close. You know, Sadie's probably a little frustrated as she's trying so hard to get that first goal of the season. Tried making her shot a little bit more difficult for her instead of maybe just going full speed, beating them while they were 1v1. But she keeps going. She keeps showing her strength, and we'll see her break out her first goal of the season sooner rather than later.
It's only a matter of time for a player like Sadie Brockbank, who has a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and a lot of power with that leg as well. And the sun has officially set behind us in the west, and the temperatures will continue to drop. Jenna Shepard with Leitner right behind her. Shepard turns upfield. Shepard toe pokes it away. There's a shot. Nobody home on the backside. Barrero was creeping. She inched very close to being able to make that dangerous for Ali Hara. Julie Carter, Amber Tripp, and Stainbrook check in for Utah Valley. And checking in for the Aggies, Kaiser. Checking off for the Aggies, Jody Hernandez. And Sadie Brockbank steps off, receiving some extra coaching from Coach Chris LeMay, because he knows and he's seen firsthand what she can do. Trying to encourage Brockbank. Nice pass by Julie Carter. Jocelyn Bybee showing off her speed. And again, speed on the other side by Aviles.
An exciting burst of energy from UVU as we see my favorite part of second halves in NCAA soccer, giving those starters a rest, a quick breather, a quick drink, and getting subbed right back in for the closing part of the half. It just adds that intensity and that excitement of fresh legs and fresh starter legs.
Amber Tripp's ball, not enough pace as it goes into the box and scooped up by Fong. Still a lot of time left for New Mexico State to try and find an equalizer, and Utah Valley knows that. That's the respect that they have for this squad.
They do. In soccer, anything's possible. We saw in the Sunday game UVU scoring 2 goals in a minute by one formation change from Coach Chris LeMay. If you have the passion and the desire, anything can happen, and you can score that many goals within this last 10 minutes.
About 11 minutes left here in regulation. Again, Utah Valley in their home pink and white uniforms. New Mexico State in the red and black as that one is deflected and kicked out of play into the parking lot and be a corner kick for the Wolverines. Breda Wall sets up to do so on the far side. Dual with the raised hand. Sent this one in toward the box. Fong does well to get a hand on it as Julie Carter was literally an inch right in front of her.
A great goalkeeper right there. Julie is so strong, doesn't get moved anywhere, and to be able to reach her hand over Julie's head to knock that out was great talent, making it extremely difficult for UVU.
Another throw-in for the Wolverines. Jocelyn Bybee does well to create her own space. Jocelyn Bybee lays this one off. Stainbrook. And New Mexico State again coming up clutch to stifle that offensive spark by Utah Valley momentarily. And forces Utah Valley to play it all the way back to Hara. Hara sidesteps a defender or two. Pokes it back up the field. Here comes Franklin for New Mexico State. Franklin taken away. Julie Carter touches it with the knee. Plays it back to Amber Tripp. Maddie Moore. Breda Wall. Good switch of the field for Utah Valley. Lots of room for Sullivan. Sullivan galloping forward. Send this one in toward the top of the box. Amber Tripp has it. Amber Tripp wants 2. Over. Fong. I thought initially that might have been tipped, but it was just too strong of a touch. Amber Tripp wants that one back.
She definitely does. Usually so great getting past that. Again, another great placement shooter on UVU. Definitely will be something that she would wish back.
Amber Tripp gets past a couple defenders trying to find Julie Carter, which she does. Carter lays this one back for Tripp. Tripp gets around Smith. Tripp's going to fire a shot. This one was a knuckler right in the arms of Fong. If that one was placed maybe a foot or so on the right-hand side, that might have been a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, you can tell that after that shot we just saw that she's anxious. She wants that back, and a little maybe too premature of a shot, a little too far out. But it just shows her passion and desire to have a better shot on frame than that one.
Which is why, one of the many reasons why she wears the captain's armband for Utah Valley. And Hannah Rivera will step onto the pitch for New Mexico State. And Maddie Franklin will take a breather. Less than 10 minutes to play here in regulation. Utah Valley on top, 1-0, courtesy of an Amber Tripp goal in the 28th minute. Megan Sullivan sent the ball into the box. The ball bounced off of Fong's hands. Fong couldn't quite grasp it. And Amber Tripp was right there to clean it up for the Wolverines. Now Heather Stainbrook. Looking. Stainbrook lays it off for Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp beats her defender there right into the side netting.
Heather Stainbrook was able to find the other end of it with Amber Tripp, and it ended up working, but you could tell that Julie and Jocelyn were a little frustrated because they were making those runs in, and due to the holding on to the ball on Heather's part, kind of held them back a little bit because of trying to prevent themselves to being in an offsides position. Sometimes you gotta just kind of play it super quick while their run is going, and just that timing of the run is key.
And speaking of timings and runs, Leitner again doing that for New Mexico State. Stainbrook, Carter. His touch falls all the way back to Sullivan. Now to Brita Wall. Jocelyn Bybee. Jocelyn Bybee's shot deflected out of play, but a corner kick for the Wolverines. Brita Wall plays this one all the way back to Sullivan. Sullivan into the box and kicked off of New Mexico State for another corner kick. Less than 5 minutes to play here in regulation at Clyde Field in Orem, Utah. Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler. Thank you for letting us be a part of your Thursday evening. Brita Wall's shot sent in toward the box, headed down by Shepard right at Fong. Dimitri Fong has watched a lot of film on Jenna Shepard and was in the perfect place because that's exactly where Jenna Shepard has scored twice this season.
It was indeed, and you could see that Amber Tripp was again in the right position as well, maybe for that deflection off the goalie's hand for her to sneak one in the back of the net again. But Jenna Shepard has proven that she is a threat in that position, and unfortunately New Mexico State staying very strong in their defensive end for doing everything to prevent UVU from putting more goals in the back of the net.
87th minute. As the mountains, with a little shade of pink themselves in the east, are illuminated by the sunset. Fouls called against Utah Valley, be a free kick for the Aggies. Gonzalez received an inadvertent elbow, it looked like, from Heather Stainbrook. Pacheco sent this one in. Julie Carter with the turn. Jocelyn Bybee, full sprint. Bybee plays it back to Carter. DeWall switches it up. Stainbrook now. Stainbrook gets past the defender. Stainbrook with the left boot into the box. And
a swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss from Jocelyn Bybee, which you don't really see that often. Sullivan from distance, right at Fong. Fong quickly gets it out to the near side. Emma Smith, the touch off of Bruce. Here comes New Mexico State in the box. Allie Hara comes up with a diving save. Hara finally gobbles it up as the whole Utah Valley bench collectively relaxes.
Definitely a little miscommunication between the defensive line and Allie Hara. She tried coming out strong on that. Allows the ball to pop out for a very dangerous position for New Mexico State, but Allie Hara showing her leadership, showing her strength as the goalkeeper, doing what keepers do best, throwing themselves in shots and cleats and everything to their face.
Final substitution here for the Aggies. Hannah Leitner steps off. And Katie Martinez steps back on. Clock continues to tick. And we're in the final minute here of regulation. Desperation time for New Mexico State to try and find an equalizer. And Utah Valley just has to play defense for 60 more seconds. Hannah Bruce. Amber Tripp. Speedy Gonzalez coming in from behind to take that one away. .40 seconds left in regulation. Amber Tripp in New Mexico State territory. Amber Tripp splits the defense. Tripp gets tripped up from behind. Free kick opportunity here for Utah Valley, and they will take their time. Stainbrook lays it off to Tripp, and Tripp is not going to really try to get that one. 10 seconds left. Julie Carter finds herself with it. Carter lays this one off. And Utah Valley will get their first conference victory of the 2019 season. Final whistle. Final score, 1-0 Wolverines, courtesy of an Amber Tripp goal in the 28th minute. And now everybody can quickly try and find themselves a warm place. For Utah Valley, they can celebrate a little bit. New Mexico State, they will hop back on the road, where they will travel up north to Seattle to take on the Redhawks. For all of our hardworking staff and crew behind the scenes, for Brent Schroeder, for Melanie Osler, I am Brandon Crow saying so long and good night from Orem, Utah. The Wolverines are victorious 1-0.